Hey, what is up, everyone? Welcome to Market Psychology 101, where we look for value in the markets when there's fear and are cautious when there's greed. In today's video, I wanted to take a look at the Bitcoin rainbow chart compared to the Bitcoin power chart, talk about some pros and cons of each, things I like and don't like, why I prefer one chart over the other. And let me know in the comments below. Do you pay attention to the Bitcoin rainbow chart or the power chart? Which one do you like more and why? I'm curious as to what your thoughts are. So for my regular subscribers, you guys know every week, Monday or Tuesday, I do a video on the Bitcoin rainbow chart. And some things I like about it are that it really shows each cycle pretty well with the halving. It shows diminished returns, logarithmic regression. If you don't know what log scale is, that's this over here when we go up by factors of tens. You can also see other interesting patterns, how each halving, it goes up a color zone. And at least recently, with the last number of tops, it has gone down a color zone. And so that is why, even though I don't want to make predictions and get stuck into patterns of prior price action, I don't want to be married to that, because things can always be a little bit different and you don't want to be stuck making a wrong play just in case, or when things do act differently. But I do like how it shows us that, as well as showing the different prices with the different bands, because as you can see, there are the overbought zones, the medium zone, and the oversold zone. So the rainbow chart does show us diminished returns based off this log scale. And as you can see, the highs are getting lower in those rainbow bands. What probably will happen, and this did happen last time with the rainbow chart, if you go on blockchaincenter.net, they do have the older rainbow chart, and they had to make an adjustment because after each halving, the peaks and the bottom is going down a color zone. So you could say that is one problem with the rainbow chart right there, and that after the next Bitcoin peak, if March wasn't that peak, I don't believe it is, but after the next peak, that it could go into another color band even lower. So that, I think, is fair criticism about the rainbow chart. And even right here, you can see the blue kind of accounts for the purple band up above, and that even lower sometime, I don't know, maybe in 2026 or so, Bitcoin might reach a price in that range. Let's go over to the power chart and talk about things I like and ways it could be better. So the power chart, I wish it did show the halvings on there. Full disclosure, I look at the rainbow chart way more. So if there's a way to do that, I don't know that. So get off my back. But anyways, I do like how the power chart has this median line in here, and how the most recent top in March came up to that. Very similar to the 2019 mid-cycle top. I think it's able to show that, okay, this most recent top was just a mid-cycle top, and when we get above that linear regression fit line, as they call it, then we're getting into possible topping territory for that cycle. It also does a pretty good job at showing support. Thus far, it hasn't broken under support. And as you scroll, it gives live numbers. So if we were to reach support, it shows that support would not get lower than around 37K. And I like that, because if we go over to the Bitcoin chart and just zoom out a bit, I'll give my computer a second to load here. Where do we have 37K? That's right at the 200-week moving average. And so I thought that's pretty good. Now, in the future, I wouldn't doubt if Bitcoin, after the next cycle top, were to get under that 200-week moving average, as it did last time. So the power chart might have to be adjusted for that, as well as you can see the peaks in 2021 never got as high as the purple line back here at around 100,000. So this is showing that diminished returns, that logarithmic regression on the rainbow chart. However, I feel the rainbow chart does show that a little bit better with these bands. And as you can see, like I was talking about with the pattern, you can look in the orange zone as the probable top instead of the red zones. Now, again, we might get into the red zones with Bitcoin, who knows, but that's what I would be looking for just as it's scaling down. So I do wish the power chart would show that. The upper end, it's showing, hey, Bitcoin could top at 440K. And again, guys, no one knows where the price is going. People make ridiculous predictions all the time. Part of the reason I made this channel is I see way too many. I feel like it's 95% of the crypto space on YouTube, on X, that people are just making outlandish predictions, not making conservative predictions or realistic predictions. And I hate even talking about predictions personally because we want the price action to sort of inform our decisions. We want to make data informed decisions. So for any of you guys that don't know, I have a background in the field of psychology, and as any good scientist would do, you need good field evidence, you need good data to support your conclusions or to support your hypothesis. If you have any idea that you want to back up and prove, not only do you want to try to prove it right, but you also at the same time want to look at ways it can be proven wrong. That's what makes a good scientist or someone who looks at data. So you want to be objective no matter what. And there's too many people who aren't able to take fair criticism when there's obvious data showing, okay, 1 million Bitcoin, not realistic. 500K Bitcoin, not realistic. So when we see up here that Bitcoin didn't reach this peak as it did in 2017 and 2013, it was later 2013, you would have to say this power cycle the power chart for Bitcoin, that maybe this top purple line should move over more, and maybe the red line even will move over more. That's support. So I would not doubt that we would break under that support, as I said, with the 200-week moving average. As far as next cycle tops, I've gone over to the Bitcoin chart and I've talked about the Fibonacci extensions. And if we take our Fib scale, and for those of you who are maybe don't or aren't aware with the Fib retracement, when you take your Fib retracement and you're trying to draw Fibs on a chart, when you're looking between the prior highs and lows, you draw from the high to the most previous low. And when we're still in that range, you're looking at those Fibs. Now, oppositely, when you're going into new all-time highs, you can draw from the low to the high. When you do draw from the high to the low and you're looking at the Fibs between, you have that Fib on log scale. I just took it off log scale because that shows us Fib extension that are price targets. And I'm going to relate this back to both of the charts we just looked at. So as we take a look at some of these price targets, we have the 1618 Fib extension at around 100K, 2618 at about 155K. And by the way, this would make Bitcoin have around a $3 trillion market cap, and the 3618 at about 210K. I don't really think it's going above that. And part of the reason for that, and I apologize, it's going to get a little messy here. Actually, I can take out this Fib right here. We don't really need that. We're going to draw a Fib, and you're going to have to trust me, bro, on this one. You can do this yourself. Draw Fibs from all the prior highs to all the lows of those cycles. And what you'll see, kind of like the rainbow chart, is you'll see diminished returns. So this is already off log scale, and we know where the Fib extension got to last cycle. It got between the 3618 and the 4236. Okay, actually, heck, let's keep going with this. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about here. So this happens every cycle with diminished returns. So you can see here, Bitcoin, the overall price, as far as the top, got way above the 4236. I forget which fib extension it is. I don't want to waste your guys' time trying to find exactly what it was. Like if it was the 7618 or whatever, the 6618. I want to say it's one of those things. But you can see it got way above those fib extensions. Okay. Each time it hits lower fib extensions. And so as we just showed before the 2021 top, it got somewhere between these two Fibonacci extensions, 3618 and 4236. Bitcoin topped first at around 65K and then up to 69K. So it got right in there. Okay. Now this time, that is why I'm showing you guys that I don't believe it is going to go up to the 4236 to 3618. I would say between these zones is the most bullish scenario just by how we have those diminished returns. So again, diminished returns going into lower bands, and the rainbow chart shows us that. So again, this went above the max band. This was the max band. Then it went into the second red and the lower end of the red. So I'm eyeing in the orange, maybe the lower end of the orange. So the third box. And let's say we have a 4-year cycle or somewhere close to it. Let's just put it out in September. I know September always sucks, but let's take a look at that orange box. You can see it shows for a 4-year cycle or somewhere around that, that would put us between 181 and 233K. Well, that, as you guys remember, is right in this area. So that would be bullish at best. But again, if it's at the upper end of even this area right here, then we can say, okay, or if it's in the other orange box, it would hit that 3618 extension at around 155. Now, what if there's an earlier top? A lot of people have been talking about an earlier top, and guys, I don't know when exactly the top will be, but let's say the top is somewhere around March per se. Well, you see actually that lower end of the orange box is at that fib extension, the 3618. So I do like how this lines up with the patterns of the lower highs as far as these rainbow bands are concerned. Going over to this chart, if we were to look at a date, like let's say we're looking at a 4-year cycle. Okay, I'm going to try to get it somewhere around there. Okay, we're end of October here. You would be looking, I'd say, more closer to the linear regression line, that green line, and around 134 or a little bit higher. But that 486 mark, in my opinion, that's just way too high. Now, again, if it gets there, great. I'll be happy with all you guys. But I've just shown you multiple reasons why I don't believe it's going to get there. Again, I'm happy to be wrong because that just means I make more money off of it. So again, I'm not saying it can't happen or I don't want it to happen. I'd love it to happen, but we also want to be realistic. I made a video a while ago how people would love if XRP had a $500 trillion market cap, and many people without a brain keep talking about that, but it's just simply not going to happen. And, no crypto asset's going to be worth 5 times the global GDP anytime soon. So you guys got to watch out for those ridiculous predictions. You have to be as realistic as you can. And again, as a good scientist, you want to take the data and look at ways that you can support your hypothesis with data and not support it, try to prove it wrong. And when it comes to stocks and crypto, things are always a little bit different. So that is why, even in the not financial advice statement at the beginning, we can't always use prior data to indicate future results. Stock markets do different things all the time. So as a scientist, we also have to know that our bias and how we collect and interpret data doesn't work the same with charting all the time. Now, crypto, it does have more of a pattern. And so I think that's why it traps so many people, because it does have these patterns and then it does do things that people don't expect. So the power chart, I'd say, keep an eye on that green line. And when Bitcoin is above that green line, then those are happy days for Bitcoin and crypto. But if you want to take more accurate looks, in my opinion, I like the rainbow chart more. So comment below, which do you like more? Why? Also, comment if you are a power chart person, if you like the Bitcoin power cycle, and you think there's some data points or things I'm not considering that I'm missing, please comment that below as well. I love to hear other people who spend more time on it. And I'll admit, I spend way more time on the rainbow chart than I do the power cycle chart. If there's something I'm missing that I'm not looking at, please comment below. I'd love to take that into consideration. I'll make a follow-up video sharing that with people. So on this channel, I'm trying to grow a crypto community where, it's not a toxic community like so many others are. And we're just here to help each other learn. Not to tear each other down for things we don't know. So if that's something that you feel sounds good to you, please subscribe. And later today, I think we'll go live and we'll take a look at Bitcoin, crypto, and all the things to look for as far as the crypto market in the medium short term future. So thanks for watching. Have a great day.